I will now call this court to session. I will call all this court to session. Please sit down, take your seats. All rise. The anime dad will now enter.
Here he. What's up, guys? I'm the Anime Dad, and this court is the Anime Dudes and Dads podcast. Now,
Objection.
what you declined or denied? Listen, you're sentenced to listening to a beautiful episode of the Anime Dudes and Dads podcast. That's your sentence, Bjorvio.
It is my sentence. And you know what? I'm good with that. I'm good with that. For those of you that are just tuning in, welcome to the episodes of the Anime Dudes and Anime Dads podcast. We appreciate that you're here. My name is Bjorvio. That's the Anime Dad. And we have a very different kind of episode planned for you today. We are going to be presenting arguments about filler arcs, and it's going to be a lot of fun. But before we get into that, we have to do our improv questions. For the newbies, we always start off with 2 random improv questions each. They are completely improv. They're made up on the spot. And obviously that means the answers are as well. For the old-time listeners, well, this is probably your favorite segment. If it's not, that's okay. It's okay to have differing opinions.
Well, unfortunately, it's not okay, and you also are sentenced to listening to this whole podcast. But that's okay. All right.
No objection needed.
No objection needed. Let's get into it. I'll start with my 2, and then you pump out your 2. I love letting the mind go wild, and just
same. It's the highlight of my day.
just talking without thinking, really. Which is my wife says I do most of the time. All right. My first question for you. Let's pretend I turn into a zombie, and you on the other side of the world had to find one way in which to change me back to a human form. Now, you have to pick 3 anime side characters to support you in this plight. Who would they be? And or would you just leave me to be a zombie?
No, I wouldn't leave you to be a zombie. I mean, what kind of world is that? That's ridiculous. Um, okay, so I would be super nervous. Oh, by the way, for those listening, my voice is a little shaky. It's fine. I'm fine. You're fine. I'm fine. We're all fine. So we're just gonna live with it for
It's
today.
not Chris Sabat, okay, with me today. It is Bjorvio. His voice is shaky, but it sounds cool. So that's why my voice, I'm trying to make it sound shaky, as you can hear.
See, there you go. But the first person I want on my team is Mirio. Okay, because he can't be touched. He can't be bit, you know. He's got the, they're just gonna phase right through him. It's fine. And I'm already a nervous guy, so I need someone to bring up that energy. I mean, make me feel like a better person. But one super hyped dude isn't enough. I'm gonna need a second one. I'm gonna need the future king of the pirates himself, Luffy. I'm gonna need that 5th
I
gear.
know. I'm
I'm gonna
sorry.
need all
Sorry.
of that.
Luffy.
Yeah, about that. Yeah, I'm gonna need him to bring in all of his amazingness along with his hype. But I think we have a little too much hype. I need
Hmm.
someone to bring us back down, but also going to be really effective against the zombies. So I'm bringing in Dobby from My Hero as well because he can just get rid of loads of them, of zombies at one time. But at the same time, he's going to be able to bring us down because Mirio and Luffy are both just so high. I'm real low. Dobby's somewhere in the center. And the only problem with this mission is it doesn't deal with Endeavor, so I think he's going to drop off really quickly.
Darby's gonna end up killing me, I think. But other than that, that's a great team, and I like how it's
Just
bringing
get
him down.
just make sure your beard isn't on fire, and I think you'll be fine.
And don't say Shoto. Um, okay, my next question for you. Let's pretend there is a war between 2 anime communities. All right, anime fandoms. Now, one fandom is supporting One Piece, and the other fandom supporting Dragon Ball. What 3 social media influencers would you want on your team, and what team would you be on?
I feel like I have to be on Team Dragon Ball because that's like most of my childhood there. So I'm gonna be on Team Dragon Ball. Social media influence. First one I want is Queso because when has he ever lost any kind of an argument of any kind whatsoever? I mean, the man's a legend, okay? So I definitely want Queso. Second one I want on my team is the anime dad because I just want to rip you off the One Piece one because then what do they have to stand on, okay? Um, and the third that I want on my team, though, that's hard. That's really hard. Like I'm trying to think of like really good social media influencers that aren't voice actors. Um, because that's like most of my feed is mostly voice actors. Okay, okay. This might be a little contradictory. Might be a little bit of a contradiction.
Okay,
Okay, are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
I don't need a third person.
Oh my goodness. I thought you were going to sing Sunny Straight for some reason.
If Sonny Strait wasn't a voice actor, I probably would
Yeah.
have, but that's the thing is like I could my mind blanked, couldn't think of any. But between you and Queso, I mean,
Mm.
what else do we need?
And now,
I actually don't watch a lot of I don't really watch any of his stuff. He
who
just
is
shows up
Queso, by
like
the way?
he's a guy that shows up on my TikTok every once in a while. But apparently he's a pretty famous Twitch streamer.
Okay.
I see clips of him like once a week and I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then I move on with my life. But like he keeps popping up on my feed every once in a while, so he was the only person who I was like, "I'll just say him. Why not?"
I like it. Queso. Queso. I'll check him out. Okay, what are your two improv questions for me?
All right, so you have a job at 7-Eleven in the smooth I keep wanting to
Smurf?
say smoothie. It's not a smoothie. It's a the Slurpee machine goes down.
Yeah.
So you call McDonald's in order to get advice on how to fix their broken ice cream machine.
Yeah.
And of course they're not able to tell you anything. So instead, you end up having to call a team of mechanics from different animes in order to come and fix your machine.
Hmm.
What three mechanics or just anime people in general do you call to fix your Slurpee machine?
I definitely would call one of the Elric brothers. Uh, they've got the alchemy to make that work and get it done. I'd also call that girl. What's that girl's name from My Hero Academia with the pink hair who's really good at machinery?
Oh, Mei Hatsume.
May Hatsume would do so well. And then finally, Suguna, just because I want some aggression towards those McDonald's, teams, and who better to have Suguna on your team to support you in fixing anything,
I don't
even though
know. Mei
not all
Hatsume
that.
blows up a lot of stuff. She might be the reason McDonald's ice cream machines never work.
That's true. But I wouldn't only get a smoothie slushy machine. I'd get probably a robot that would walk around serving
Ah.
people smoothies, even though it blows up after
Oh,
two
then yeah.
weeks.
Yeah, then Sukuna is much better in that kind of an environment.
I'd agree.
Because you know why?
Yeah.
Because cursed energy works on robots, but only if you are cursed energy. You
Yeah.
can't be a jujitsu sorcerer, obviously.
Oh, of course. Hey, I've got an interim question. I just thought of it, and I don't want to let it slide. If you had to pick an anime character who you believe is a similar level to you in chess to play, and you think you'll beat him, who would you choose?
Ishigami Senku. No, I'm totally kidding. Um, um, I would say Krillin. I would say Krillin.
Yeah, that's a good one. He's in the middle, and he'd probably be pretty good, but good one. All right, what's my second improv question?
All right, so you and Krillin go to the park in order to play chess one day, and unfortunately, you drop your chessboard into the nearby lake, and so you have to fish it out. Krillin is in the middle of setting up the picnic, so he's a little preoccupied. So you end up getting all of the chess pieces out yourself, except you're missing one of the kings. So you
Hmm.
can't really play because you can't take the king. So you look around and you find a multi-dimensional portal and you stick your hand inside in order
Goodness.
to pull an item from an anime out to be the king. What item are you hoping to pull out of that portal?
Such a great question, and there are so many answers flowing through my head right now, but it is a brilliant question. It would definitely be Chopper from One Piece. He's the size and shape of a king, and his antlers would allow me to move him around. But really good question. I was wondering where that was going to go. And to be honest, if something like that happened, if a portal opens up to go to an anime world, you're not sure what anime world it'll go to, and you're not sure how you would get back. It'll be very hard not to jump in. Do you know what I mean? Just for the experience.
Yeah, but like also which anime were like what if it's like, you could be thrown into an isekai and you'd probably be fine for the most part, but what if you got thrown into Attack on Titan?
I know, but imagine finding a way back somehow and saying Aaron Yeager's my best friend, and he's my best man at the wedding of me and Armin. It's you know what
Not
I
even
mean?
like Best Girl Mikaza or anything, just Armin.
I couldn't think of anyone else.
Or Potato Girl.
True. No, it would be who's that? Who's the voice actor? No, there's no Chris Sabat voice actor in that show. But I don't know. It will be fun. You stick your head in,
No,
and
actually,
then you
Sabat
fall in.
is in that show. He's in like one episode in the first season.
He is. Who's the guy who gives the incredible speech when he's riding into battle?
Oh, I always forget his name. We either save Armin
Yeah.
or we save,
Ah,
what's his
yes.
face?
What's his face is a good name.
Yeah, but oh my gosh, that speech is incredible.
It blows my socks off every time. Now that are great improv questions. I really appreciate you. I sound like a. I really appreciate you talking about it. Thank you so much. Now let's get into
I
the bulk of our
appreciate you
conversation.
appreciating me.
We're talking about some exciting things today. We're talking about um. You just said it. What am I? I'm forgetting. What are we talking about?
Anime filler episodes.
Filler episodes. Are they good? Are they bad? We've all gone there. We've all clicked on a filler episode and thought to ourselves, do I really need to watch this? We're having a heated
Mhm.
debate. If it gets too heated, we've got people on standby to throw water on us. But it's going to be heated and exciting and vicious. And that's what the show's all about. Now, what stance are you taking in regards to filler episodes?
I am taking the stance that filler episodes have their place in anime. That are they good all the time? Maybe, maybe not. But at the same time, anime would not be what it is without filler arcs.
All right. Well, how about you lay down your first reason succinctly, beautifully, and you have 43 seconds to do so.
Okay, Goku and Piccolo driving cars. What else do I need to say? No, but really though, I mean, you have some really good like filler episodes in a bunch of shows, and that includes things like OVAs, which are really good, like Take My Heroes, where you have All Might robbing a bank, or they learn
Hmm.
this playing card game. Like that's really fun. Sometimes you have episodes like in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood where it's a recap of the whole series, which by golly, you need that in Full Metal by that point in time. You need it because there's so many things you forgot about. And then you have other things like great animes that have these amazing arcs. Like in One Piece, you have the G8 arc.
Yeah.
Like that entire thing is filler. Or Bleach, the
Don't
Zanpakuto arc, or whatever, however you pronounce that.
get One Piece out
Um,
of your mouth, man. Get One Piece out of your mouth.
hey, I'm just saying it's not in the manga, therefore it
That's
is
true.
classified as filler. That doesn't mean it's bad, and that's my point.
I shouldn't.
A lot of people love that arc. Therefore, filler must be good at times.
I shouldn't have debated you with your cool voice because I'm just more scared. You sound more
Sustained.
authoritative. Sustained. I mean, all right. Answer me this one question. Have you ever skipped a filler episode?
I plead the fifth. Well, I mean, of course there are times where I have like, and
Would it be the
yeah, like
majority of the time that you do, or not?
it depends on the anime.
Sorry, that was my gavel. Um,
That sounded so official. My gosh, I'm gonna go change my pants after that.
my one reason, it just disrupts narrative flow. You know, you're really into the story. A crazy thing just happened, and then a little guy pops up saying, I'm gonna play baseball today." And they play baseball, and you get back to it, and it disrupts the story, and it takes excitement away from the story itself in certain cases. Um, what's your retort?
So, are you saying that anything that takes away from from the main point in an anime must be filler?
Anything that takes away from the main point must be filler. Great question. The majority of a storyline interlaces with the main storyline of the anime. Can you give me an example where it doesn't? I'm trying to think.
Okay, so here's an example of an arc that a lot of people don't like and think is filler, but it's actually not. And that is the Gentle Criminal arc in My Hero Academia. People say that that's not a good arc. They say it's filler, and a lot of people skip over it. However, it's not filler. It's important to the plot. A lot of people just find it boring. But
Hmm.
because it's actually written in the manga, it's not filler. So back to my question, if it's boring, does that mean that it's filler? Is
And
that what you're saying?
boring is subjective, but that particular arc, I think it's still connected with the main point of the series, whereas it was saying there's a thin line between villains and heroes. And Deku himself had to realize that he could have been a villain as easily as he could have been a hero. And it also shows his new way of fighting in a way. But you have a good point. You have a good point. Why does filler even exist in the first place?
Well, sometimes the animation studios can't are essentially caught up and need to stall for time for the mangaka to create more content because otherwise the show's going to be on like a brief hiatus or something. Not as much. I feel like we don't have as much filler. I don't feel like anymore
No.
compared to we as what we used to, but nonetheless, it is still around. I mean, just a few years ago we had Sasuke fighting dinosaurs in Boruto. I mean,
That was so terrible. Sorry.
oh gosh.
Um, I mean, one thing I'd give to filler, it does test new concepts and characters with the audiences, you know, so sometimes it does. I'm going to give you 1 point in regards to that. It does test concepts. It tests different characters in different situations, and it tests the reactions to them. Um, but I think the disruption to the main storyline really gets me, and gets my knickers in a twist. Could you please untwist him for me?
So again, going back, like you keep going back to this disruption in the story, but the story can be disrupted by things in the manga itself as well.
Hmm.
So, like for example, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, some parts of the manga don't and the anime do not happen at the same time. Um, and you could argue that the manga did it better than the anime in terms of where they played certain parts of the story. And so when they inserted it into the anime, it came off as appearing more fillerish. Or like something they just skip, or just like something that completely messed with the flow of the story. So, for example, when Yuki was introduced, the guy that owned the mine that the Elric brothers shut down, that scene is fully shown in the manga. It
Hmm.
is not in the anime. You don't even get to it till most of the way through the anime until I think they're past the Fort Briggs arc.
Hmm.
So when that scene comes up, it feels really strange for the Elrics to be talking to this guy about oh, shutting down your mind. Oh, I don't remember this. That feels really out of place and disrupts from the story, especially because Yuki doesn't really do much for the plot. However, it's not filler. It's in the manga. It's just part of it was left out.
True. And how do you spell filler?
Filler.
Yeah. Now, a donut without filling, would you prefer it?
Is something I will eat. I don't like filling in donuts.
My point exactly. My point exactly. A filling in a donut takes away from the main flavor of the donut itself. Thoughts?
Yeah, by adding something new to the donut to make it more original and to try out a new concept, like you said earlier. I mean, a glazed donut is good, but a glazed donut with strawberry, that might be something worth trying. And that's how we got strawberry glazed donuts, right?
Good point. I've never had one, so I can't comment on that.
Objection, hearsay.
But, how do you spell filler backwards?
Rellif.
Correct. Now I'm in your head.
Objection, intimidating the witness.
All right, let's get one final, final concluding statement. Okay, and the audience will decide who is the debate master, and who wins this particular topic. We both actually are just doing this for the sake of debating. We both have very strong feelings on either side, but the closing arguments are gonna really prove who won this. Go.
Okay. Goku and Vegeta and Piccolo learning to drive cars. How many of you think that's one of the best scenes in Dragon Ball? How many of you think that's amazing? I do. That's filler, though. Or even the baseball episode in Super. That's fun, okay? That's fun. Are you saying you want to erase that from existence? Or let's take entire arcs, like what I mentioned earlier with the G8 in One Piece. I mean, One Piece, that is one that I looked up on the One Piece filler arc where they thing where you kind of skip over and like only watch the important episodes. That's still on it. And do you know why? Because even though it's filler, it's still important to the character development of all the crew and even some of the villains. Okay. If we take away filler, then we're left sometimes with studios that just give awkward gaps um in the production of anime because they can't get it all out when they need to. And we lose some of the more memorable and funny scenes that we get from filler. Am I saying all filler is good? Absolutely not. Like we mentioned earlier, Sasuke has no reason fighting chakra controlling dinosaurs. That's just weird. Okay, Naruto has some good filler, Naruto has some bad filler, okay? And that's just the nature of anime sometimes. Not all filler is good, but to erase all filler from anime is to lose a part of what the history of anime has been and a lot of the really cool scenes that we have really enjoyed in anime over the years. And with that, I rest my case.
Okay, for those listening, Bjorvio just dropped a mic, and it might be broken. So you know, that they do with that with what you may. Uh, in, Now, in conclusion, filler tends to disrupt narrative flow, dilute character development, and sometimes fails to match the quality of the main storyline arc. I think rather than diluting things with filler, um, uh, the anime creator should plan, have a better plan in place, a better system of scheduling their anime, and actually ensuring that their anime is well rounded, focusing on the content and the art form rather than just making money, which is which happens far too much in our world. And who's to say? Who's to say that Bjorvio is not on their payroll. Okay, all right. I can see he's got that squirrel in the back with diamond encrusted eyeballs. Where do you think he got that from? Where do you think he got that from? Big anime. That's where. Rest my case.
Objection. Hearsay.
That was fun. I like that.
That was kind of fun. That was kind of fun. I do listen to a lot of true crime podcasts, and I actually just got into one where they were doing like a court evidence deposition thing and going, and I was like I was like, man, this is really interesting. And then I'm like, oh, I should write down some of these terms so I can remember to use them during the podcast.
Well, you did well. You did really well. If those of you listening agree with me, agree with Bjorvio, agree with both of us, we're actually on the fence either way. I've had some really good filler episodes I've really enjoyed, and Bjorvio actually
Has
has some
definitely
bad.
seen some filler that I've definitely skipped 100%.
Yeah, so we're on the fence. We're on the fence. All right, well, let's get into our improv for the morning, evening, afternoon, and midnight. Now, in regards
And
to
Twilight.
improv and Twilight, I I'm a judge in a case where what's a comfortable voice you can do at the moment, Bjorvio?
Um, Probably All Might or a really interesting Shigaraki.
All right, All Might is there, and let's just see what happens. I will be the let's say Shigaraki is representing All Might, okay, and I am the lawyer as well as the judge. All right. Well, welcome to the case number 562, All Might versus the uh, government. Now, All Might, you have been charged with destroying 20 buildings and 500 million yen worth of government property. How do you plead?
Guilty as charged.
Okay. Wow. Wow. Okay. Well, now,
But that's not why we're actually here today.
no?
We're here today because I was told that I needed to pay all that back.
Yes.
But hero society does not demand that a hero, while trying to save lives, has to pay back the damage that they causes. This is terrible. I mean, so with that in regards, yes, I did destroy those buildings. But am I responsible for the money that to pay them back? No. So for that, I find myself not guilty.
You were doing it all and you saved one puppy. There's 20 buildings worth of damage for one golden retriever puppy. I don't think, I don't think that's an appropriate outcome. What's your reasoning for that? How can you explain that?
Well, how did I know it was such a little girl with a puppy quirk or something? How was I supposed to know? You don't know. You're a hero. You have to make judgment calls. And in that moment, I decided that I was going to be the symbol of peace and justice to help that little girl, even though it was just a dog. But I didn't know that at the time. I did
That's,
what was right.
that's true. That's very true. Now, okay, I can probably see your point in regards to that. But that person who stole someone's handbag did not deserve to be punched to the moon. He's still there. We're trying to get him down. I don't know how you got that spacesuit on him in time and then knocked him to the moon. But that's inappropriate, I believe. What's your reasoning for that?
He had a spaceship quirk. Quite simple. I knew he'd survive. I just put him in prison long enough for someone to go out there and get him. I mean, he was going to get life without parole anyway. I just went ahead and made his sentence a little bit easier. I put him in solitary confinement.
Okay, all right. I see your point there. Now, final case against you. You're making good arguments, and I appreciate you for all you've done. You're actually my favorite superhero. But final argument, and this cannot be resolved. Before you stop that purse snatcher and save that dog. You had a drink of water in your hands. You threw it away and then saved them. You littered in the street. Littered. That's a 10 million yen fine for littering, and I just don't think that's what a hero should be doing.
When duty calls, a hero must answer the call. Was I supposed to hand my cup to someone else?
Yep.
No, because then I'm getting them sick. Because I had a cold that day. And then what happens if they get sick and pass it on? That's not very heroic, is it? Because then it's an epidemic in their family. Do you want to pay their hospital bills? Because I don't. And here's the other thing with that. Yes, I dropped my. Did I drop my cup on the ground? Yes. Could I have found a table to put it on? Maybe. But if I would have waited, would that purse snatcher have stolen the purse and run away and their dastardly deeds been all over the news later? Yes. Would that lady have been able to take her heart medicine that she desperately needed to take in 5 minutes? No, because her purse would be gone. These are sacrifices that heroes must make.
All right. Well, I must admit you're making quite solid arguments. Now, all right. Let me just concur with the jury quickly, right quick. Uh, so, what do you think? Guilty? Not guilty? What?
100% guilty.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, they do say you're guilty, and but you're charged because you're my favorite superhero. Like I said, you're only charged with 3 hours of community service, and the community service is reading me bedtime stories at nighttime. You have to come to my house for the next 3 weeks for an hour a week and read me a bedtime story. My favorite one is "I Love You to the Moon and Back."
Well, if you would have told me that you were a fanboy, I would have just gotten you a signed autograph earlier.
Case dismissed.
I
Bro,
still have that cup too.
your your All My Town is actually real cool like that. It sounds cool with your voice a little bit crackly. It sounds like he's just been working really hard. I like it. Um,
Maybe he
but
has.
but they must have big insurance claims, those heroes.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, just Endeavor alone. I mean,
Heck
like
yeah.
a quirk where you just burn up a bunch of buildings. I mean, yeah, he's really pretty good about controlling it and making sure that he doesn't burn things. But he wasn't always that good.
No, 100% not. All right. Well, take us home with a voice of your choosing, my good man, and tell us also while you taking it home, it needs to rhyme. Go for it.
Hello, my name is Thick Thunder, and if you've heard of me before, or if you haven't heard of me before, that must be a blunder. Thank you for listening to our show. And if you're in a rowboat, please continue to row. Come back next week where we have something great. And whatever you do, make your comments full of love, not hate. And don't, as we always say where I'm from in West Dolce, go beyond. Plus ultra.
Ultra.